of the top Vikings beat reporters, Alec Lewis, dropped a very interesting article talking about some of the Vikings' plans at the quarterback position. I want to give you guys my thoughts coming up on today's edition of Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman. Appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. So this is what Alec Lewis had to say on the Vikings quarterback plan. He said, little is off the table in terms of how aggressive the Vikings will be, according to multiple team and league sources. So pretty much Alec Lewis is saying that the Vikings will pretty much do anything at the quarterback position. Will they be just a tiny bit aggressive or will they be ultra aggressive? They will pretty much do it all. They will do their due diligence and leave no stone unturned here, and they will try to find whatever answer they can to seriously upgrade that quarterback room. But I think the root of this quarterback issue with the Minnesota Vikings is obviously J.J. McCarthy. So I ask you guys this. Should J.J. McCarthy be QB1 next season for the Minnesota Vikings? Want to get the pulse of the fan base on this one? Give me a Y for yes or give me an N for no. We'll sneak peek into my answer to this question. I don't have too strong of an opinion right now. I'm going to still, look into it a little more and let my thoughts marinate, but I am leaning towards no, and this doesn't mean I'm saying J.J. McCarthy can't be the guy in the future. He is a bust. I'm not saying that at all. I just think for the 2026 season, I actually think it would benefit the Vikings and J.J. McCarthy if you potentially bring in a guy that can start all 17 games next season and let this guy just kind of work behind the scenes, let him develop a little more, let him become a little more mature. But you guys, let me know your thoughts. Should J.J. McCarthy be QB1 next season? All right, Alec Lewis also said in this article, shout out to Alec, by the way, this was some great stuff, saying, whatever the answers are, the Vikings are going to be proactive in trying to lift the quarterback room to a playoff caliber level. McCarthy's role will hinge on what else is available, as well as his offseason growth in the relevant physical, mental, and emotional areas that he himself cited Sunday evening. And I really believe this. I think the Vikings are going to be ultra aggressive at the quarterback market this offseason. I think they're going to do whatever they can to get a serious upgrade at that quarterback position. Because I thought it was interesting that Alec Lewis said right there at a playoff caliber level. Because maybe he's hearing something that people in that organization, no matter how good this Vikings team is around J.J. McCarthy, no matter how good this coaching staff is, maybe they just view J.J. McCarthy as a guy where it's like, it doesn't matter how good we are. He's not good enough right now to get us to that level. And I think I would agree with whoever that may be leaking that to Alec. Because this year with McCarthy, yes, he has shown flashes. Yes, he has made some great plays. And yes, there are certain plays you can kind of hang your hat on and be like, all right, there's something there. But the most concerning part about this graphic you see on screen right now is the top left. The guy played in 10 games this season. He finished 8 of them. We know he's inaccurate with the football. A 57.6 completion percentage, 1,600 yards, 15 touchdowns, 14 total turnovers, passer rating of 72.6, and PFF graded him out, having 19 big-time throws and 15 turnover-worthy plays. And also I thought this was interesting from Kevin O'Connell. KOC after the game yesterday said, I think he's improved throughout the season. I think he's grown. But this part right here was interesting to me. He said, like a lot of young quarterbacks do throughout the season. And maybe I'm looking too much into this, but this was pretty telling from Kevin O'Connell. Because, yes, he was showing JJ some love, saying, yes, he has improved throughout the season, but it almost felt like that was a little backhanded of a compliment, where him saying, I think he's grown, but like a lot of young quarterbacks do throughout the season. Like, I almost wonder if he's saying, like, all right, yeah, JJ has taken strides, but every quarterback takes strides. Like, thank God he took strides. Most quarterbacks do. So I thought that was pretty telling from Kevin O'Connell, and their relationship has just seemed off this entire season. And even when he's giving him a compliment, it's kind of seemed a little backhanded. But my takeaways from J.J. McCarthy year one. We obviously all know about the mechanics issues. I don't want to get too much into that. I'm not a quarterback guru. I don't know the exact, ins and outs of the mechanics of the quarterback position. But we all know that's an issue. But this part I want to focus in on here real quick. He feels immature. And I don't think you can reach the mountaintop of the NFL with a quarterback who feels childish and feels immature. Because J.J. McCarthy, too many times this season, whether it's him during a press conference, whether it's him doing that mean mugging in that locker room, or whether it's just his reckless play style, he plays immature and he plays childish, and he's 22 years old. Can you really blame him for that? But he's also an NFL starting quarterback. You got to be more grown than your age is. Yes, he's 22. I mean, I'm sure most of you guys watching, what were you doing when you were 22? Probably nothing great. Like J.J. McCarthy, like it's unfair to him, but he has to be more mature than he's shown so far. And I wonder if he feels immature than me, if he feels immature to a lot of you guys probably watching the show right now, how does he feel to the guys in that locker room? Now, I think that's a negative, but there's also been positives. He has shown a lot of flashes. I mean, that one throw against the Green Bay Packers when he's rolling out to his right, throws a frozen rope down the right sideline to Ben Sims, it was fantastic. As we know, the durability issues, and kind of him kind of speaking back to the, I don't know if the immaturity plays a factor in it, but he feels shaky in the pocket. Like he doesn't feel like he's got a ton of confidence in himself and a ton of great feel. So these are my 5 biggest takeaways, but something on the immaturity here. Former Vikings linebacker Ben Lieber kind of spoke to a situation and a sequence he didn't like from this Packers game. It was when J.J. McCarthy took himself out of the game after the first play of the second half. He says, I don't love it. I know that there are situations where you might not be able to. You might have to alert the training staff and say, hey, something's going on. Something doesn't feel right. So there are some certain circumstances where you'll be like, yeah, I need this looked at. But to pull yourself off mid-series after one pass play in which it seemed everything was fine in the second half of the game when it seemed like you were throwing the ball fine, I don't love the optics of it. I don't love what it kind of means for him. I mean, for a guy that has battled injuries and has this mark on him as far as a reputation of not being healthy. I agree with Lieber. I don't love the look of that. And I think JJ needs to grow up fast, one, for his future in the NFL, but for this Vikings organization. Like, I really don't like that look. And I'm shocked I didn't really notice it during the game, but when you really think about it, it's like the dude's calling off to the sideline and be like, hey, I can't play anymore after one throw. Like, that was it. He's like, I got to take myself out of the game. I don't love the optics of it. Like, it does kind of make him seem soft. And also, I think J.J. McCarthy knows there is a soft narrative around him because still that play, when he tried to lower his shoulder into a DB, and listen, some people loved it. Some people are like, oh, J.J. McCarthy's showing how tough he is. J.J. McCarthy's playing with that confidence, playing with that swagger. I thought it was just flat out idiotic for him to do that. You have battled injuries throughout this entire season. This is a meaningless Week 18 game. What are you trying to prove? You're playing the Packers' second stringers, and you're trying to lower your shoulder, and then you're talking noise after. The kid's just got to grow up. And I really do believe this. If J.J. McCarthy in June and July is the no doubt QB1 for Week 1 next season, something went wrong this offseason. Whether that means, hey, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Matthew Stafford, none of those guys are available, a Baker Mayfield, one of these quarterbacks that would be a serious upgrade over J.J. McCarthy, something went wrong. Because I think at bare minimum next season, there has to be a QB competition. I'm not talking about a fake QB competition where it's like the Vikings bring in Marcus Mariota and say, hey, it's going to be Mariota and McCarthy battling out. They can't do that. That would be a screw you to this fan base if that is a situation. So there needs to be some serious upgrades at the quarterback position. It's the most important position in all of sports. And this kid, can he be something when he's 24, 25 years old? Potentially. I'm not, writing him completely off, but I just think for next season, Bucks got to try to get an upgrade. So, this is going to be a crazy offseason, and appreciate all of you guys tuning in and watching today's show. But if you guys could hit that subscribe button today. In the month of December, we picked up 935 subs. I'm going to try to challenge you guys to beat that here in January. So if you guys could hit that subscribe button today, would really, really appreciate it. We're actually closing in on 69,000 subs right now. So hit that subscribe button and help us reach our next milestone of 69K. All right, coming up here in just a second, I do want to talk about some superstar Vikings QB targets, where I got 3 guys, Burrow, Lamar, and Stafford, and why these possibly could be on the table and why the Vikings need to seriously consider going all in on one of these 3 guys. But before we do so, I want to give a massive, massive shout-out to Factor Meals, today's sponsor. And if you guys head to factormeals.com/VikingsChat50 off, and use promo code VikingsChat50off. We'll hook you guys up with 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. And it's the new year, which means big goals. And if you guys have no time to cook, well, Factor makes it easy with fully prepared meals designed by dietitians and crafted by chefs so you can eat well without the shopping or cooking. And why I love Factor, they have no refined sugars, no artificial sweeteners, no refined seed oils. They have meals that fit your goals and schedule. Healthier eating, calorie management, more protein, and they have 100 rotating weekly meals. I absolutely love the blackened salmon you guys see on screen right now. That's one of my favorites. Also, the Texas cheddar burger. That one is absolutely delicious as well. So you guys give them a chance. They got calorie smart, Mediterranean diet, and a GLP-1 support, and they're all ready to eat right away. So head to factormeals.com/VikingsChat50off and plug in promo code VikingsChat50off to get 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. This offer is only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. Make healthier eating easy with Factor. All right, let's talk about these superstar quarterback targets for the Minnesota Vikings now. We're going to start off here talking about the Ravens quarterback, Lamar Jackson, because a lot of you guys might be saying, well, Patrick, if you want the Vikings, to potentially not have J.J. McCarthy be the starter next season, well, who are we going to bring in? And a lot of these are very far-fetched. And I think the biggest kicker here with Lamar Jackson is his contract. He's got a cap hit of $74 million over the next 2 seasons. So in this la-la land of the Vikings potentially trading for him, you probably trade for Lamar, give him a contract extension, backload a lot of that money. But there's no doubt that changes are coming in Baltimore. Tyler Loop missing that field goal last night kind of creaked that door open of Lamar possibly leaving the Ravens. And even though this feels like a pipe dream, if the Ravens brass had to choose between John Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson, I'm assuming they're choosing Lamar. I mean, even Lamar yesterday, you would just see a couple of plays and it's like, all right, that guy's got that superstar ability. I mean, that one play where Alex Highsmith came free, stepped up in the pocket, pointed to Zay Flowers, go downfield, just drop the ball straight in the breadbasket. It was a high-level play by Lamar Jackson. We could talk about the scheme fit with Kevin O'Connell. I'll tell you what, Kevin O'Connell, if you trade for Lamar Jackson, screw your scheme, change it. Like, this guy's a superstar talent, top 5 quarterback in the world right now, and I think almost, like, if a change of scenery would almost help a guy like Lamar Jackson out. You play with Justin Jefferson, play with Jordan Addison, play with a great defense led by Brian Flores, Lamar Jackson, take this team to the top. But also another guy they'll love to have, and, it's got to be Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, he has almost started acting like an NBA superstar this year, where he's starting to get a little cryptic in his press conferences. There's something going on in Cincinnati. And now the Bengals have said earlier today that they're going to retain their whole brass, the head coach, the GM, and everything. But there was a video of Joe Burrow walking off the field yesterday where he was kind of taking a moment. He's looking around the Bengals stadium, and he was just kind of soaking it all in. Maybe I'm looking too much into it. But it almost looked like Burrow, he wanted to have that moment for himself. Maybe he's retiring. I mean, I don't know, but it was like a weird moment that was going on. But Jeremy Rauch tweeting this out saying Joe Burrow took several moments to stop and take it all in before leaving the field today. Post-game, he called the Bengals 2026 offseason the biggest of his career. On upcoming conversations with the front office, he says, I think for the most part, we're on the same page. I think for the most part. Again, just leaving that door open. I think Burrow and Lamar are unlikely, but both those doors are just creaked open a little bit. And I'm going to call my shot here. And I don't necessarily mean this is for the Minnesota Vikings. I don't necessarily mean this is Joe Burrow or Lamar Jackson. I think this NFL offseason is going to be absolutely mad. And I think there is going to be a massive QB trade this offseason. I think it just also depends on how massive. Are we talking the level of a Burrow or Lamar? Or are we talking maybe a level of a Baker Mayfield being dealt? What if a guy like Justin Herbert? I don't know who it is. I don't know which team could be trading for which quarterback. But my shot call right now is that there will be a massive QB trade this offseason. We're just going to have to wait and see how big that trade truly is. Now, number 3 here, got to talk about Matthew Stafford. And I think last year, us Vikings fans, when we were talking about Aaron Rodgers completely coming back, or not coming back, but coming to the Minnesota Vikings, we all kind of used a comparison to Brett Favre in 2009. This would be Brett Favre in 2009. Or Matthew Stafford, let's just say, the Rams, they lose in the divisional round to the Seattle Seahawks or, potentially the Bears or the Eagles. And maybe the Rams are saying to themselves, you know what, Stafford was great. We won a Super Bowl, but we want to go get younger at the quarterback position. We got 2 first-round picks next season. We're going to try to trade up in the draft and maybe get a guy like Dante Moore. We're going to go send you to another team because there's also, remember last offseason, there were some contract disputes between them. There was a potential that Stafford could, potentially leave. And I think the Vikings would make a lot of sense. He understands O'Connell's system. He would obviously love to play with Jefferson and Jordan Addison. I think Stafford, if I had to choose out of all 3 of those, I think Burrow would be number 1 just because I think Burrow, you get the longevity too of, you would have a franchise quarterback for, hopefully 7 to 8 more years. But out of Stafford and Lamar, I think I would go Stafford because this would be perfect for McCarthy. You have Stafford be the quarterback next season, maybe even the next 2 seasons. You get some high-level quarterback play. Vikings would be competing for Super Bowls, and you'll let JJ learn from them. I think I would pick Stafford over Lamar in terms of one guy to bring in this offseason. It would kind of really feel like Brett Favre back in 2009. So, hey, we appreciate all of you guys tuning in to today's quarterback show. And if you guys made it to the end, hit me the skull down below in the comment section. Appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. And we'll get on out of here. As always, Skull Vikes.